this is Charlie from Adventures with Charlie, and welcome back to the review circle. Oh, I've took a look at the first film. Oh, I've took a look at the second film. But now it's time to look at the third film, and watch the fourth film. So let's take a look at the third installment of the franchise, Hotel Transylvania 3: A Monster Vacation. And in this one, I made this worry that at work at the hotel, Ellie's starting to get too much to drag. And suggest instead of giving him a vacation from giving everyone a vacation, the answer to that is a good family cruise for all the monsters. As on the cruise, Dracula does fall in love with a human called Erica. However, for maybe this new girl isn't all she seems to be. I've already mentioned how much I like the first film, and how the second one is my favourite in the franchise. So I don't really have much to say. However, do not let the title of this video fool you. Yes, I know in the US the movie is called Hotel Transylvania 3: Summer Vacation, but in the UK we call it A Monster Vacation. And I actually think that title fits the film better. So just remember, in the UK it's A Monster Vacation, in the US it's just Summer Vacation. So what are my thoughts on the third one? I'd say it goes right in the middle of the franchise. It's not as amazing as the second one, but it's a slight improvement over the first. So let's get into the characters. Remember how last time I said Dracula was at his least likable stage? In this one, he's at his most likable stage. Not only does he want to have a vacation, but he also wants to look for love. In case you don't know the rules of monsters, you can't think twice. That's Monster for Love, by the way. However, that does all change when he meets Erica, who I really think the film really developed. Look, she is seemed like the film's antagonist, she is put in a tough position where she's either to follow her grandfather's footsteps or to actually grow into Dracula and the gang. This puts her in a tough situation where you can actually find yourself feeling sorry for the girl. And then there's her grandfather, Van Helsing, the main villain of the movie. Okay, I'll admit it. I could see what they're trying to do with him. We all know Van Helsing as this monster hunter, and they could have made him a great threat to the crew, especially as someone who's been hunting Dracula for years. However, they just make him like a goofy villain who's now on his wheels with what's left of his body. And that there's not really much left of it. It's not a bad design. In fact, I think it's really unique. It's just not really the most creative design this movie could come up with for him. And he's probably the weakest of the villains in the franchise. Moving on to the rest of the characters, as for the most part, they are their likeable selves as we know them from last time. They don't really have much like Dracula, but they do offer their own little side plots. Like then Ennis trying to get at Inkles onto the book. With his friend, and when Innie went and his one I've been free from their kids is and Mavis being the one suspicious about Erica's behaviour. Yeah. As well as have the rest of the Drac Pack acting Irish Dracula to be support and help him with his relationship with Erica. Also, I'd say the acting is pretty good. And it is actually really well done. It's definitely the best acting so far we've got this franchise. Will the fourth one still keep the good acting? Hopefully. But just to let you know that this is the last movie where Adam Sandler plays Dracula. And that in the fourth one, he's going to be replaced by Brian Pauly. As someone who likes the Impressionist on YouTube's work, I'm excited to see what Brian has in store or from Drac's performance. And so far from the trailers, he's not disappointing. I'll find out when I watch the movie soon. And I'll let you know then. Anyways, let's get into the story. It's a simple idea. We take a vacation and go out on a cruise. However, Drac does start to fall in love with a human with Erica. In fact, the story structure is kind of similar to the first two films combined, and where it takes the monster falling in love with human tropes from the first film, and the road trip out of the hotel from the second. They combine them together, and you probably won't think that this movie will work. Look, it's going to be as predictable as it gets. We've seen these stories in the other films. Just let it go. It's just pretty predictable here. Well, yes and no. Let me explain. Yes, this movie is really predictable. Where each element is easy to guess as each time. However, it is actually really well executed. Like, these two really come together to make one strong story, and it actually connects really well. I'll say right now, the one thing that really got me invested was the heart. Like the relationship with Drac and Erica, because starting to grow. That's my favourite. To Mavis worrying about her dad's new girlfriend, and showing how much she cares for her dad, and no matter what mistakes he makes. Also, like the other two, it does offer some really good humour. Once again, the jokes are just as hilarious, and they are really funny to me every time. Every time you watch it, there might be a new joke you've not discovered yet. But one thing that has definitely improved over the first two films is its animation. Where the film actually took full advantage of the cartoon moment. The designs themselves are still very strong. Once again, showing a variety of monsters, but also show more humans. And it's like Erica. Like, Johnny's no longer the only human in this group. Also, they do a nice big dog's design for Tinkles, who was introduced, by the way, in the short puppy that played before or the dreaded Emoji movie, which everyone, including myself, hates. The character animation itself is still really creative, not just again being very cartoony, but actually staying well, but also showing and different sides to these characters, and how they actually work well on the crew. Speaking of which, this film really showed different environments than just the hotel, where we're actually away from it, and I actually don't miss it that much. Yes, it can't really be seen as a Hotel Transylvania. In fact, it feels like more cruise Transylvania. Yeah. Okay, that's the best one I could come up with. Don't judge me. But it actually does really work well to its advantages. And I can see how it can and show different sides of how the bit scale of this cruise is. Also, the different locations that we go to like a beach, an underwater volcano, and Lost City, the other lanterns that has been found, they all really show some great variety in backgrounds and show new locations that we haven't yet seen the monsters in. So overall, calling this one right in the middle of the franchise is the best way to put it. Not the best of the franchise, but it still is a really good film on its own. Hotel Transylvania 3: A Monster Vacation is an entertaining entry like the first two films. While it's not as great as the second, and with a more predictable story, and a weak villain, it is a slight improvement over the first, as with some great execution, some of the best animation of the franchise, lovable characters, keeping the good humour, and a lot of heart, as well as some talented voice acting. Fans of the first two, I think that this will definitely be one that they'll get a lot out of it. But like I said with the second one, even if you're not a fan of the first film or the second one, it is worth watching and for some decent entertainment. It's not the best of the franchise, but it still is a great entry, and that's what gives this movie an 8.5 out of 10. And now I've got to do the fourth film when I watch it. But first, what am I going to do in the next episode of the review circle? Cool. Well, I've looked at a few Marvel movies, and I've looked at some animated Disney movies. Let's put them together into one movie, eh? See you later, folks.